boys and girls. I'm here to review what you learned in your last lesson. Do you remember what it is? It's about greed and generosity. I think it's safe to say that everyone wants to be a generous person. I mean, I don't think anyone would want to be a person full of greed, right? However,
What's going on?
Hi, Danny.
Hi.
What are you doing?
I was coming to check out what's going on.
Well, we're reviewing our lesson from Sunday.
Again, I'll sit and I'll help you.
Well, it's not about the same thing, so I don't know if you would.
But I've read my Bible
Oh, you
all
have?
the way through, from Genesis to Revelations.
Okay, so you think you could help me?
Yes.
Well, would you like to know what we're at least talking about? Or do you know that already?
Oh, I know that already. Yeah, definitely.
What are we talking about? I'm interested to hear.
It does start with G.
Actually, yes. What is it? Oh, I'm not telling you. That was not 6 feet, by the way. No, we're talking about generosity.
Yes, I knew that. Definitely. It was in there somewhere. Yep.
Okay. Well, the last thing I told the boys and girls was how generosity is something that we have to work at. It's not something that just happens.
How do you work at a generosity store?
When did I ever say a generosity
You say you have to
store?
work at generosity. How do you work at generosity store?
No, I said work at it. Like, you have to try. It doesn't just... Okay, hear me out. Look, I'll explain, okay? There's no generous fairy that sprinkles generous dust on you.
Hold right there. I'll be right
I
back.
didn't even get to explain.
It's okay, I'll be right back.
Maybe it's okay that she left. Okay, oh, I don't believe it. What have you done to Sam?
I gave Sam a makeover.
You gave him a what?
A makeover. He is now Samicorn.
Is this green?
Yeah, green and yellow and gold and silver.
Why?
Because he's Samicorn.
Okay, what does Samicorn have to deal with generosity? I was trying to explain to you, remember?
Yeah, and you said something about the fairies and pixie dust, and it reminded me of Samicorn the unicorn and how he's so unique, just like fairies and pixie dust. And we were talking about going work at the generosity store.
I never said that. I was trying to
Yeah,
explain
we were
that.
talking about going work at the generosity store.
Mm-hmm.
And Samicorn tried to get a job at a store.
Tammy.
What?
I think you need to take a deep breath. Ready? Breathe in. And slowly breathe out. Okay, while she does that, I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you ready to hear the rest of my explanation?
Yes, I'm ready. Hit
Okay.
me with it.
No, we did that last time. That didn't work. Okay, so like I said, there's no generous fairy that can come and sprinkle generous dust.
But there is Samicorn.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
But that has nothing to do. Just focus.
Focus.
There's no generous genie who grants you your generous wishes. There's no generous spider that will bite you and turn you into generous man with super giving powers.
A spider? Who wants to be bit by a spider?
Okay, boys and girls, I'm hoping you're kind of getting my point. Danny, what I'm trying to say is being generous doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. You have to work at it, not work at a store. But you have to practice it. You have to try.
What if I told you that God made me and when I came out my mama's tummy, I was already a generous person?
Well, that's great, but you can always try to be even more generous than you are right
Did
now.
you know my middle name is Jenny? I'm generous.
Good grief. Anyway, to continue with what we were
Talking about being generous, boys and girls. Remember, if your middle name or your first name is Jenny, you must be a generous person.
Well, actually, our power verse tells us the answer to the question that we were talking about, right?
That's right. That's right. Our power verse.
How to be generous.
Right. It's important.
The power verse says, but generous people plan to do what is generous, and they stand firm in their generosity. And that's in Isaiah 32:8.
I got a question.
I
It
don't think I'm
says stand firm in generosity. It sounds to me like you gotta go in the store of generosity and stand in it.
No, Danny. Actually, you know what? I think I'd like to ask you some questions about it. We're gonna turn the tables, boys and girls. Danny, I want to ask you some questions.
Okay,
about
let's
generosity.
go.
Okay. So, what are some opportunities you might have to be generous?
Well, I was very generous when I gave Sam a makeover that turned him into Samacorn. I know he really wanted it, and it would cost him a lot of money to go to the stable and get it done. So I did it for free.
You did.
That's generous right there. That's very generous. You know how much money it costs to do this?
Okay, well, Danny, there's a good chance that a lot of the boys and girls don't have a Sam or a Samacorn or whatever you're calling it.
They probably have their own little stuffed animal, bear, horse, or
Well, let's try to think of some other example to like give them an idea of how they can be generous.
Well,
What's something
I
they could
bet you that y'all could be generous, and instead of taking all the candy for yourself, you could share it with your family and your horses and your unicorn.
Well, you were getting somewhere, but I don't know.
Because
Maybe I'll have
candy is
horses and
special, and that is a good idea. You better go home and share with your family, your friends, your horses, your unicorns, your pigs.
So one way to be generous is to share. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Boys and girls, I think we're finally getting somewhere.
Sharing is caring. That's what she was gonna say.
Sure. It's also a good way to start learning how to be generous, which is what we were talking about. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you another question. This one's a little
ahead.
tough, so you have to think.
Tough. I'm tough.
Okay. Why do you think it mentions standing firm in the decision to be generous? You asked me, but I want to ask you. Why do you think it means to stay? Why do you think it means?
I think you need to go back to kindergarten. You got
That was not very generous.
You got your grammar
That was
all
not
mixed
very
up.
generous.
Hey, I'll pay for it if you want some fine schooling. I'll be generous.
Okay. Why do you think it mentions standing firm in your generosity? What does that mean?
I think what it means is God's trying to tell me to go open a generosity store so people can come in there and stand in it.
I don't think that's what he was trying to tell me.
Well, then what in the world was he trying to tell me?
I'm so glad you asked. Boys and girls, I think what God was trying to tell us in the book of Isaiah is that generosity is not always easy. Say, like Danny said, you had some candy and you wanted to share it with your brothers and sisters and you knew that that would be generous and that you should do it, but you really wanted that candy.
Well, too bad.
Well, no, I'm trying to give an example. You really wanted to keep the candy.
Oh yeah, you really wanted that candy. My precious.
Oh, okay. Well, something like that, yeah? But you have to stand firm in your decision that no, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to share.
Yeah, that's important. Don't forget it.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Standing firm in generosity means not
compromising?
yes. It means not going back on what you say you're gonna do.
Do you know that one time I had to compromise and instead of getting 5,000 pounds of Snickers, I had to get 2 pounds of gummy worms instead? It was very hard because candy at a store is very expensive, but somebody was generous to me, so in turn I got them some gummy worms to be nice. That way I could be generous to them.
Oh, so you were being generous.
Yes, I stood firm on my decision in the store and decided to be generous in the store, the generosity store.
In the store. Well, thank you, Danny.
That's right. So here's what you gotta remember. Go to the store, stand firm on that candy aisle. Make sure you buy some for all your friends, your family, your horses, your unicorns, your flying pigs, your goats,
Danny.
cows,
Danny.
your
Danny.
spiders.
I think you were done.
I'm not done.
Thank you, boys and girls, for tuning in. We're so happy that we get to be here and to explain a little bit more about generosity.
That's right. Don't forget, go share your candy with the world. Well, me and Samacorn, we're gonna go head out because we gotta go buy some more candy for my mama.
Okay.
Okay. She worked so hard yesterday. She prepared this big, good meal for us. She was being generous to us. So now we gotta go stand firm on that candy aisle and get her some candy.
Whatever you say, Danny.
That's right. Are you ready? Yay! Let's go, Salmon Corn.
Whew. Bye, boys and girls.